20 seconds. 15 seconds. 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
Good afternoon, hockey fans. We're broadcasting to you live this afternoon from the Houston Fieldhouse on the campus of Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute in Troy, New York, as we get set to bring you today's non-conference women's hockey action between the visiting Huskies of St. Cloud State and the homestanding Engineers of RPI. My name is Tom Reel. I'm joined today by my cohort, Perry Lascaris, and you're listening to all of this on your home for Engineers Hockey, 91.5 FM WRPI Troy. Engineers come into today's game with an overall record of 1-6-2. They are 0-2-0 in ECAC hockey play. The St. Cloud State Huskies enter today's game with an overall record of 3-4-1. They have a record of 2-1-1 in the WCHA.
Engineers coming off of a 5-2 loss last Saturday against Dartmouth, in which Laura Stacy got the scoring started at 6:14 of the first period. Assist to Morgan Ikalainen and Catherine Bergheis. That made it 1-0. 11:31. Dartmouth made it 2-0. That's still in the first period. Katie Ratty with her first of the year from Bergheis to make it 2-0. RPI pulled back within 2-1 at 7:32 of the second. Mariana Walsh's second of the year and first of two on the day for her. But Dartmouth extended that lead back to 3-1 with a power play goal at 13:04 as Berghaus got into the action from Emma Corbs and Alish Forfar. Walsh made it 3-2 again, 13:50 of the second, with an even strength goal, her third of the season, from Katie Rooney. But it was all Dartmouth in the third period. They added two more, 6:31 of the period. Sam Zeiss with a goal, and then Laura Stacy finished it off with her second of the game, make it 5-2, a shorthanded tally. That coming at 17:04 for RPI. Kelly O'Brien with 42 saves in the game, including 18 in the first period, 14 in the second, 10 in the third. Robin Chimago had 19 stops for the victory. She's now 3-0. O'Brien now 1-3, and two goaltenders have been splitting time. We'll see who gets to start today. We're not quite sure yet. We'll find out. Tom had a chance to sit down with John Burke here.
I did have the chance to talk to head coach John Burke before today's game, and we talked a little bit about RPI's play recently, their first ECAC weekend out in New England against Dartmouth and Harvard, and some of the challenges that the team has to overcome. And this is what he had to say. All right, Coach, tell us a little bit about the Engineers' trip out to New England last weekend.
Well, one, I thought we had a great effort, and I thought we executed our system extremely well. You know, one thing I think we've struggled with all year is our power play. We had some really good opportunities, at Harvard and Dartmouth. We had some good looks, but just unfortunately we haven't been able to finish on that. So something we've been talking to our kids about, just being a little less tight on the sticks here, continue to move the puck like we have here, but just try to simplify things a little bit more by making sure we're getting pucks in net there and crashing as well.
The team finally broke out of its slump a couple of weeks ago here at home at the Houston Fieldhouse with basically a 3-point weekend against UConn. What did the team do right that weekend that you're looking to expand upon in the coming weeks?
Well, I think number one, we scored some power play goals here. I think 5-on-5. We've been very happy to play 5-on-5 here. The one thing that that we struggle with is our power play. So we really get some power play goals. Gave our team some confidence. Also gave us some separation from UConn as well. So it's something that we've been trying to work on and simplify it and continue to get some shots on net. So if we can get our power play going here. Just actually finishing, not with puck movement or the opportunities we're creating, just more about the finishing part here. We're going to be fine here. So that's the biggest piece that we've been trying to focus on is our power play.
Started off the season out west, taking on a couple of WCHA teams. You've got another one coming in for 2 this weekend. What do you expect out of St. Cloud State?
Well, I think one is the teams out west are just probably a little bit bigger than the teams out east here. So they're going to be a big physical team here. They've got a very good first line. And, their power play has been pretty successful so far. So one of the things we're going to try to do is make sure we use our speed. I think it's one thing we have, and it's helped us create our offense is our speed. So we want to make sure we use that and try to put some pressure on the defense and also making sure we're driving the net as well.
What can you tell us about the situation in net for the weekend?
Oh, actually, we've gotten, I think, that's the one area I think we've been really happy with. Both Kelly O'Brien and Brandon Piper have played extremely well for us this year. And so we're going to continue to rotate them. So Pipe's going to go today and Kel will go tomorrow. And like I said, they've given us a chance here each game.
All right. Coach, thanks a lot.
Thanks, Tom.
The starting lineup for the Engineers this afternoon, RPI rolling with 11 forwards and 6 defensemen. The 3 complete forward lines consist of Shayna Tomlinson centering the top line with Taylor Mahoney and Ali Swoboda. Laura Horwood is with Lauren Wash and Whitney Wren. I should say that Wash is the center on that second line. Mary Mankey is on the third line, centering Katie Rooney and Mariana Walsh. There are 2 other forwards dressed this afternoon, Lindsay Hilwa and Marissa Raspa. On defense for the Engineers, Hannah Mahonick and Brandy Banks, the top defensive pairing. Amanda Kimmerly and Catherine Schilter, the second defensive pairing. And Delaney Middlebrook is with Jen Godin, who is returning from an injury she sustained a couple of weeks ago here at the Fieldhouse against UConn. As you heard from Coach Burke just a moment ago, Brianna Piper will be in net for RPI. The 5'8 senior from Oakville, Ontario, has a record of 0-3-2 on the season. A goals against average of .253 and a save percentage of .912. For the Huskies, they are also starting 11 forwards with 6 defensemen. Molly Ilkanen is the center on the top line with Amanda Arbogast and Abby Ness. Lauren Hespenide is centering the second line alongside Alyssa Erickson and Paige Pena. Hannah Brote is on the third line, centering Kelsey Salins and Vanessa Spataro. And Jenna Redford and Mackenzie Johnson are the 2 extra forwards for the Huskies. On defense, Caroline Markstrom is with Audrey Hamner. Krista Moody with Lexi Slattery. Alex Mackrick is with Brittany Anderson. And the goaltender for St. Cloud State, Julie Friend, a 5'8 senior out of Minnetonka, Minnesota. Her record this season is 3-2. 2 of her wins coming in WCHA play. Her number is .258 for goals against average and a save percentage of .919. So RPI coming into today's game riding a little bit of a high at home as they are unbeaten in their last 2 here at the Fieldhouse. They were able to knock off UConn for their first win basically since January, 2 Fridays ago, and had to settle for a tie. Actually, that game was on a Saturday, wasn't it?
Yeah, Saturday, Sunday, yeah.
Saturday, Sunday. So 2 Saturdays ago, they got themselves onto the winning chart. They had to settle for a tie the following Sunday, and then started ECAC play last weekend, falling twice against 2
Let's meet the starters for both clubs. First, for the visiting Huskies of St. Cloud State. Off forward from Regina, Minnesota, number 6, senior Amanda Arbogast. Off forward from Grand Rapids, Minnesota, number 12, junior Molly Gilligan. Off forward from Russo, Minnesota, number 10, senior Abby Ness. A defenseman from Copeland, Sweden, number 11, sophomore Caroline Markstrom. A defenseman from Wyoming, Minnesota, number 3, senior Audrey Hanmer. In goal today for the Huskies from Minnetonka, Minnesota, number 1, senior Julie Friend. And the rest of the Huskies of St. Cloud State. The head coach of the Huskies is Eric Rude. The assistant coaches are Steve McDonald and Janelle Sergey. Now introducing the starters for your RPI Engineers. Off forward from Cary, Illinois, number 8, senior co-captain Taylor Maloney. Off forward from Guilford, New Hampshire, number 14, freshman Shayna Tomlinson. Off forward from Arlington Heights, Illinois, number 4, senior co-captain Allie Swoboda. A defenseman from Anoka, Minnesota, number 20, freshman Amanda Kimmerly. A defenseman from Aurora, Ontario, number 3, senior Catherine Schilter. And in goal this afternoon for the Engineers from Oakville, Ontario, number 30, senior Brianna Piper. And the rest of the RPI Engineers. The head coach of the Engineers in his 12th season is John Burke. The assistant coaches are Melanie Green and Derek Alfama. Ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please rise for the playing of the national anthems of Canada and the United States.
on-air for men's and women's hockey. For more information or to express interest, contact us at WRPI-sports at rpi.edu.
Set for this one, St. Cloud State comes all the way out from St. Cloud, Minnesota, of course, a school of about 14,000 undergraduate students.
Fine school of 14,000 undergraduate students.
And 1,600 or so postgrads that Tom might know about. Ready to drop the puck here. And we are underway from the Houston Fieldhouse. Engineers skating from the right to left. They were in their home white. Black and red trim. The Huskies are in cardinal red with black and white trim. Flying around the ice this afternoon. The first of a two-game series. RPI has the puck in the near corner. It's Taylor Mahoney. Back towards the point, shot from Kimberly, deflected towards goal. Crandall trying to cover, lost her stick, but does cover things up. There's an engineer in the area. It was Tomlinson trying to get a rebound home. Good start for RPI here. They get a shot and a dangerous chance on a redirection in front.
And outdoor areas. And as always, thanks for respecting our tobacco-free campus environment.
Alex Kubota was able to get a stick on in the slot, but the puck didn't go.
Faced off, won by Lauren Walsh, back towards the point. Giant by Banks. First one through it. Laura Hoare with a goal and 3 assists for her on the season. Now Whitney Wren. Good start to her RPI career. Already a few points on the year. 1 goal and 2 assists. Shot deflected into the corner. Trying to move it off the wall is Pena. Can't get it out. Shot goes wide. Out in front, and now will be cleared towards the point. Banks doesn't know where it is. Between her legs. Shot back into the zone by Horwood. The Engineers touch up and go back after it. A good start continues for the Engineers as they look to forecheck here. Krista Moody trying to clear. She'll skate behind the net. Going it far side. They cannot connect through the middle. Jen Godin, good to see her back down on the ice. Tips that one towards the Huskies blue line. Now offside are the visitors, and we'll have a whistle as they touch the puck in the RPI zone. 18:40 left, first period, no score. RPI in the same route.
Very Jen Godin to see her first action since that first win that RPI was She missed the next 3 games, but it's back here for the Engineers.
Moved out to center by Delaney Middlebrook. It's knocked out of the air far side by Mackrick. Alex Mackrick, a junior from Windsor, Ontario, back behind her goal. Now to the far side half wall. Salins tries to work it out to center. It's kicked at and moved out. Rooney will track this one down in the neutral zone. Plays it back to Middlebrook. She scoops it along, looking for Mankey. Too far for her. Headed back the other way. Brittany Anderson into the RPI zone. Engineers back to get it. It's Middlebrook. Up the far boards. Finding Walsh. Walsh had a big weekend for RPI. 2 goals on Saturday. Up to 3 on the season. Tied for the team lead. Now carry. Near side, trying to get out of the zone. They do. It skips by Mahoney all the way down the ice. Took a deflection, so no icing. Frendel played up the far wall. Out to center for a second. RPI touches up. They'll chase again. Thrown near side now in front of the RPI bench. Swept back into the RPI zone by Amanda Kimmerly. Kimmerly, a freshman from Anoka, Minnesota. Gets it deep. Played in the near corner. Outlet pass, out ahead of everybody. Knocked down at center ice nicely by Schilter. Skips a pass through center, head back the other way. It's carried into the zone by Hamner. Hamner to the blue liner, spins around in the near circle. They work it into the corner. Now a centering pass is blocked up into the air, comes free to the far side of the goal, where it's tracked down by Abby Ness. Ness tied up by Svoboda. Schilter carries Johnson into the boards. And now Ness back towards the point. Moody, far point. Pass across, deflects towards goal, hits off the base of the cage, and wide of Piper, who's in goal today for RPI. It's shot deep again by the Huskies. It'll rattle around to the near corner. First one to it is Arbogast. Her centering pass hits the skate of Tomlinson. Free to the point. Shot saved by Piper. Kind of sat there at the side of the net. The Engineers sweep it away. Up the boards now. Engineers trying to clear it out. Digging along the wall. It's peeled away. Shot coming from Moody that flips wide of goal. Far side half boards now. Trying to turn with it there is Pena. Pena centering. Knocked away by the goalie stick of Piper. Picked up by Svoboda. Engineers trying to clear. Can't get it out. Slattery into the far circle. Stolen away by Svoboda. Helped on to center ice by Tomlinson. Stick handles through the legs of a St. Cloud State skater. Gets it to the line. It's sent back the other way by St. Cloud State. However, they carry it far side into the RPI zone. Engineers have numbers back. Hits off the skate of Wren. Will be chased down in the far corner. And a poor pass towards the point gives it away. That was Schilter who gave it away, but gets some help here as Horwood moves it out to center ice, trying to pick up speed into the zone. Falling down on the play is Mackrick. She'll track it down in the near corner of her own zone. Cross ice pass far side for Anderson. Back to Mackrick. Back behind the goal. Starting up the breakout there. Pressure comes from Wren. Wren nearly worked it free. Mackrick still on it. Is knocked away by Wash as they tie up now along the far side boards. Now to the point. Kept in by Banks. Wren walking in. Circle. Shot was blocked by a stick. Goes behind the goal. Around to the near corner. Now Wash trying to chase it down. Played behind for Brittany Anderson, freshman from Hudson, Wisconsin. And now moved out to center by Alyssa Erickson, also a freshman. She's from Mission, BC. They dump it in to the Huskies. Picked up by RPI. It's Godin up the near boards for Wash. Chips it off the wall. Spinning into the zone. It will not have the legs for icing. It's tracked down there by Audrey Hamner. Already 5 goals and 3 assists for 8 points, 8 games for Hamner from the blue line. We have a whistle here as it's covered and held on to by Julie Friend.
14:57 left in the first period. There's no score here between RPI and St. Cloud. Shots are 2-1 in favor of the Engineers. They really just pick up the second one right there on that cover by Friend.
Face off one back to the far corner by the Huskies. So rolled around to the near side. Pinching up the boards is Hilwa for a second, then lost it. It'll be carried on out to center by St. Cloud State. They have numbers if they hurry. Good poke check, though, by Middlebrook to slow things down. And St. Cloud will have to start over in their own end. Long outlet pass by Hamner. This will be icing on the Huskies as Molly Illikainen couldn't track it down. Send the face-off back to the other end of the ice.
St. Cloud zone. That's a good opportunity. Kind of a back and forth affair. Both teams just failing to get anything really overly special going.
Yeah, a bit of a feeling out period as it's Hamner up the far boards. Nice connection. They'll work up the wall. Now moving into the chance. A 2-on-1 possibility. Good poke check again. That time it was Schilter got a stick on that one to break up the possible 2-on-1, although it was slowed up a bit by the trailing player for the Huskies. Now it's Kanan walking in front, saved by Piper. She got a point-blank try, and the Engineers clear it out. Schilter kind of fell down the slot area. That allowed some space for Molly Illikainen. Now a shot from outside the zone is blocked down by Piper. And flipped to the far side of the ice. A little bit of space for Mahoney to walk in with. Her teammates change behind her. Low shot, stick save made by Friend. It'll be carried out the near side, now spinning around in the corner of her own zone is Slattery. That's Slattery. Gets it to the far side. Picked up again by the Engineers. Banks shoots it in off the skates. Spotted right back out to center ice. Godin gets a stick on it. Sends it back to Rooney. She'll carry it on far side before they turn it back over and shoot it back the other way. Down the ice it goes. Godin up the wall for Rooney. Rooney at her own blue line. Threw it off a body. That was Ness. It's chipped out and now moved into the St. Cloud State zone. First one to it is Mackrick, junior from Windsor, Ontario, looking for her first point of the season. Gets it up the near side boards. Bohonic will track it down there for RPI. DDD pass connects to Banks. Out ahead for Wash. Feeding it to Horwood. Horwood in the high slot. Nifty move to get free to the far side wall. We now back to the point. Bohonic, a wrister through traffic, never got to goal. Hits a skate and it kind of sits there. Backhanded by Wash, covered up by Friend. She couldn't get much on the shot as Wash had her stick tied up just a bit by the stick of the defenseman Slattery, and we'll have a whistle here.
The goaltender just kind of waiting for the puck to get somewhere near you. It's all kind of traffic in front. The second you see that rubber, you bounce on it, and that's exactly what Friend did right there. Get that whistle.
Into the far corner of the St. Cloud zone it goes. Moved out by Arbogast to center. Near side, Abby Ness, senior from Rousseau, Minnesota. Tie up along the wall. Engineers carry it back out. Wren. Near side for Horwood. No score here. 12:30 to go first period between RPI and St. Cloud State. The first of two in non-conference two-game series. As this one shot all the way down the ice, it'll be icing on the Huskies. We'll have a stoppage in play. With 12:21 on the clock, shots still a slight advantage for RPI at 4-3. face off far side of the St. Cloud zone. Carried out strongly towards the line, but stopped up there. Good play at the point by Kimberly. Keep the puck in the zone. Now doing so with the right skate, is edging it along the ice. Now Tomlinson trying to toe drag it in the middle. Comes free to Mahoney. A shot through traffic, save on the pad. Rebound comes free to Svoboda, but she can't get a stick on it. Now a clearing attempt kept in by Mahoney. Engineers continue to look impressive here in the opening moments of this first period. As it's shot along the far boards, Kimberly pokes it ahead. Now Tomlinson trying to stick handle around Abergast there, and it's moved into the zone near side. Mahoney just tried to tap it deep, got caught in her skates, and Hamner will play it back behind. Markstrom up the far boards, moved along there by Pena. Now into the zone. Illikainen behind the RPI goal. Raspa has it knocked off her stick. Illikainen looking to center on the backhand. Defended nicely by, looks like Godin. Or make it Raspa rather. Loose to the far side circle. Shot and the stick save made by Piper. Into the far corner it goes. Hilwa trying to get a stick on it. Can't. And they bump the St. Cloud State player off the puck. That was Illikainen. And now RPI able to move it out to center. Raspa overskates a bit. Backtracks to her own zone and gives it away. Illikainen carrying in. Walking in Illikainen. A move, a shot, and a goal. A delayed penalty coming. The shot was finished off by Molly Illikainen. And it's 1-0 St. Cloud.
It's a good move by Illikainen there as she skated in basically alone. She had a defender to her side, but really nowhere that the defender was going to be able to get anywhere near her. So it was really just down to Illikainen and Piper. And Illikainen just skated across the goal mouth, waited for Piper to make the first move. And as soon as Piper flinched, Illikainen just put it directly to her left into the net. I don't want to say completely against the flow of play, but mostly against the flow of play. It gives St. Cloud a 1-0 lead, and they're about to go on the power play.
There was a penalty. I believe it might have been a hook. Let's see what the call is.
RPI penalty number 26, Lindsay Gilbo. 2 minutes for slashing.
Slashing is the call.
9 minutes 4 seconds.
RPI goes down, and they're on the penalty.
2 minutes for
St. Cloud State power play 13.9%, 5 for 36. The Engineers on the kill 64.5%, 20 for 31. Neither great numbers. More so the latter, as it's going to be St. Cloud State into the zone far side. Good connection. Shot coming and a goal right over the shoulder of Piper. It's quickly 2-0.
Great way to get yourself down quickly is to give up goals with delayed penalties. That's something that's been true here in college hockey for probably going on 4 or 5 years now. It's a rule that kind of sets the NCAA apart from a lot of other leagues, but it really can be a way for you to fall into a hole really quickly, is to give up a goal on the delayed penalty, then suddenly you're throwing the penalty, and you're throwing up 2 goals in less than 30 seconds. We're at 2-0 here. 26 left in the first period.
Lauren Hespenheim with a power play goal, her second of the year. Makes it 2-0 St. Cloud, and RPI in a hole. Just about the halfway point of the period. Mahoney into the zone, flipping it deep. It'll be tracked down there. Lost her stick along the edge of the ice. Centering pass out in front. On the backhand was Svoboda. If that was on, if Svoboda was left-handed, she would have had a nice chance there. But back comes St. Cloud State into the RPI zone, feeding it in front. Met there by Piper. She made the save on the point-blank try by Salins. So St. Cloud State nearly making it 3, if not for Piper coming across the crease to make the stop. It'll be flipped into the zone by Svoboda. 2-0 Huskies leading this one. Just carried along by Hamner rather. Off the skate. Good play by Wren at the line to keep it in. Whitney Wren walking in. Takes a shot. And the blocker saved by Friend. Wren behind the cage. Stick handling. Moves it deep. Centering pass. Mankey out in front. Fanning out at Horwood. The puck just hopped over her stick. And carried out to center. Big collision over there in front of the St. Cloud bench area. It was Mackenzie Johnson who got knocked nearly into the bench area, but looks to be okay. Wash back to center, crosses the red line, and dumps it in. Tracked down by Mackrick. Leaves it for Brittany Anderson. Anderson through center. Dangerous pass nearly intercepted by Walsh. RPI does have it. It's Banks. He shoots it right back in. Mackrick on it. Throws it off the wall around the forecheck of Walsh. Now up the boards for Jenna Redford. Redford has it knocked off her stick. Top of the zone. Kept in by Rooney. Rooney feeding it forward. Bohonic gets on the end of it, playing it back towards the point, but couldn't get anything on the pass. It'll be Anderson to flip it out to center ice. A chance to break here. Nats into the zone. As Illikainen with her. Just missed on the feed. As Illikainen couldn't get her stick down to control the pass. There was a 2-on-1 opportunity. Goes by the wayside for the visitors. Now kicked at by Arbogast. Engineers have it. It's Delaney Middlebrook at center ice. Shoots it off the boards. All the way down. They wave off the icing. Picked up by Pena. Behind the goal from Moody. Back towards Pena, far side, and up ahead for Arbogast. Nice connection through the middle. Here's Pena into the RPI zone. Stick handling around Middlebrook, trying to get the shot away. Goes down, but they'll say it was incidental contact. And replay on. Shilter, long outlet pass, far side. It was behind Mahoney. It'll go all the way down the ice. He should be icing on the Engineers. It will be. 7:45 left in the first. 2-0 St. Cloud State leading. A goal and then a power play goal after the ensuing delayed penalty makes it 2-0 here.
St. Cloud right now is really just trying to burn RPI with their speed. And they're lucky, I should say RPI is lucky that they're not down 3-0 right now. Because the Huskies really just kind of pouring it on. Taking this 2-0 lead the last 2 minutes, they've had a number of good opportunities. Just short.
Chipped off the wall. Svoboda off a skate, looking ahead for Tomlinson. Headed back the other way. Pena into the zone, top of the near circle, dropping it back, poked away by Middlebrook. Behind the goal it goes. Kicked at towards the point. One-timer coming. It was blocked by a stick. That was Svoboda who got down, and now Tomlinson carries back the other way. Engineers in the middle of a change. As Tomlinson moves it in the middle. Feed for Svoboda, knocked off her stick. Sent back out to center softly by the Huskies. Will it have enough for icing? Yes, it will. 7:07 on the clock. Engineers find themselves down 2.
I mean, this icing call is really a key moment for them to get back into this game again. We've got to do something to stem the tide. Really just kind of breaking out what creating opportunities. So we've got to move this face off. Really try to put some puck right down into the sequence.
Face off coming back to the point for Godin. Godin up the wall. Horwood back out far side for Banks. There's an errant pass, goes all the way down the ice. And Brandy Banks back to get it. Banks will start things out here. Junior from Burlington, Ontario. Plays it over to Godin. Stick handles around 1-4 checker. Puts it far side for Wren. Wren will backtrack a bit. Now played up the boards for Lauren Wash. Engineers having a little bit of trouble getting up any speed through the neutral zone as it's flipped into the zone by Horwood. Tracked down by Brittany Anderson. Anderson gets some pressure from Wren. Gave it away. Wren in the far corner. Hands it off to Horwood. Horwood tied up. Lost the puck. And stick handling in the corner now is Hannah Brock. Brought towards the point, kept in Godin. Far side is Wash. Stick handling, played it on to Shilter. Into her skates, takes the slapper that takes a deflection. Now a shot by Wash and a goal! Lauren Wash picks up a rebound and buries it. It's 2-1.
That's exactly what RPI needed at that point. They had the opportunity down in the St. Cloud zone. They've been kind of chipped away. It's been what they've needed to do to score goals this season. To be able to create opportunities like that. A nice shot by Wash through traffic. Gets through and has the St. Cloud lead. It's now 2-1 Huskies.
So it's the second goal of the season for Lauren Wash, 21st of her career. And just what the Engineers did need at this spot here after getting down too early. Flipped ahead by Rooney into the zone. Walsh trying to dig it loose. Walsh having a bit of a resurgence here. She throws that one towards the net. It's kicked away and carried on by Slattery. Slattery near side of her own zone, up the boards. Engineers trying to bottle things up at the line and do it for a second. Good cross-ice pass will allow St. Cloud State to move out to center. Centering pass, she goes down. Puck into the far corner of the RPI zone. Johnson plays it behind, nobody home. Amanda Kimberly is for RPI. She'll skate it up the near side boards. Give it away at the line. Johnson trying to stick handle around with a fender. That was Mankey in there. Now a shot from a tight angle off the back of the net by Johnson. Picked up in the corner. Redford. She's tied up by Kimberly. Back towards the point. Kept in Hanmer. She'll flick it into the far corner. Illikainen. Watched by Mankey. Illikainen with some size advantage. She scored the first goal of the game for the Huskies. Now Hanmer through traffic. Hits bodies in front. Did get through to Piper. She makes the save. Will be carried on out to center by Walsh. Walsh crosses the red line. Dumps it in right onto the stick though. Engineers have to be careful here of Markstrom. Markstrom tried to send it the other way. It was blocked up. And now controlled by Handler. To the line, knocked down by the Engineers. Carried back in by Tomlinson. She has some room. Drop pass. One-timer, and she scores! Svoboda with a rocket off the post. We're tied at 2.
That was just a heck of a shot. She wound right up, which was very strikingly different than a couple of opportunities ago. You saw Taylor Mahoney shooting right basically that same spot and didn't get much on it. Ali Svoboda really wound up with that one right at the top of the slot, probably closer to the far face-off circle. That one was just ripped and put her right off the post and in. Just like that, with 4:36 left in the first period, we're back square. It's 2-2.
Ali Svoboda with her second of the year, the senior from Arlington Heights, Illinois, has knotted this thing at 2. An even strength goal. Both RPI goals have come even. And now will be carried along by Tomlinson. Into the zone, trying to make a move around the defender. Good defensive play as Mackrick sends it back the other way. Now carrying it far side. The Huskies are offside and they touch the puck. Could be intentional offside. It doesn't look like they're going to call it here. Well, maybe they are. Yes, they're going to send the faceoff all the way down. Hespenheide clearly understood that they're in an offside position, touch the puck anyway, so the faceoff will come all the way down the ice.
Quickly recap all these goals for you. We have Illikainen scoring for St. Cloud, 9:04, and 9:27. Lauren Hespenheide made it 2-0. Lauren Walsh scored at 13:42. We've got 15:23 was Ali Svoboda.
Skating out to center, Moody near side Pena. Into the zone. There's a player wide. They find her, although it's covered up. Brought over there. Engineers trying to get out of the zone. They can't. Picked up far side circle. Pena walking in. Stick handling around Middlebrook. Still on the move. Loose puck in front. Covered by Piper. She has it in the red basket somehow. It was a great move over there by Pena to get free. And then it was covered up nicely by the RPI senior goaltender.
The assists for RPI on those goals. On the Wash goal, credit assists to Kevin Schilter. Svoboda goal, credit assists for Tomlinson. And
shot from the point when Johnson ricochets into Handmer ricochets into the netting. And we'll have a stoppage here. 3:40 on the clock, first period. RPI has pulled 2 goals back to tie the game at 2.
What's been exciting here is RPI mostly controlling early, then they get down 2-0, and then just like that, they quickly turn it around.
Handmer from the point. That one got all the way through to Piper. Schilter up the boards in the air to center ice. There's a collision there. Mankey has it knocked away, and now Brott will track it down. Lets it run for Handmer. Cross ice pass connects to Caroline Markstrom. Now Walsh shoots it off a body, but does get it deep. Markstrom back for it for St. Cloud. She's tied up by Mankey. Mari Mankey centers it all the way through the low slot area, but nobody there. Carried back the other way by Spataro. Spataro into the RPI zone. Stick handling. Lost it on the poke check by Banks. Schilter back behind the goal. Finds Walsh at the far side hash marks of her own zone. Just shoots it out to center. Shot right back in by St. Cloud State. Banks again. Up the boards. Kept in at the point by Illikainen. Now loose. Picked up by Schilter. Flips it near side to Svoboda. Svoboda up ahead to Tomlinson. Carrying into the zone. And back into the zone, I should say, by Mahoney after it left offside on the Engineer.
2:39 left here in the first period. We are tied at 2 shots on goal. Thus far, the Huskies with the slight edge, 10-9.
Face-off upcoming. Moved into the St. Cloud State zone for a second. Kept in at the point by the skate of Banks, but the Huskies will now move it out to the neutral zone. Shot deep by Salins. RPI back to get it. It's Jen Godin. Godin up the near board, skips by Mahoney all the way through to the neutral zone. Anderson turning around in front of the RPI bench area. Loose in the center ice circle. Illikainen will carry far side into the RPI zone. Works it deep. Will roll around behind the RPI goal. Johnson's there. 2 Engineers are, and the Engineers take it away. It's Tomlinson. Up the boards for Svoboda. Bouncing puck center ice. Comes free to Tomlinson. Trying to backhand into the zone. Loose at center again. And carried on by Horwood. Lost in the poke check by Johnson. Espenheim. Far side carried in Redford. In the far circle, there's a takedown. Puck moving out towards center ice. Over to get it is Moody. Chips it off the boards. Couple of Huskies need to touch up. And they do. In fact, they make a partial change. Now Wren stick handling through center. Fanned on the dump in. Engineers are offside here. They'll need to touch up. Walsh doesn't realize it. Now she does. Johnson near side of her own end. Walsh goes in, tripped up, and a penalty upcoming. It's going to be on St. Cloud, as it looked like Walsh was the one who was upended. Maybe a high stick. Middlebrook will chip it in. Maybe didn't realize that it was a delayed penalty, and somebody should look to carry there. But it's going to be a tripping call. Walsh is going to go off. And just from my vantage point, it looked like the puck was underneath Lauren Walsh, but the Engineers are going to get the benefit of the call here anyway.
It's going to be Mackenzie Johnson, the freshman from Sullivan. So, off on the strike ball with 1:10 left in the first period. Let's see what the Engineers can do on the man advantage late here in the first period.
First power play chance for the Engineers. They are 2 for 55 on the season. Schilter working it down low. Back up top, Schilter. She'll carry it down to the goal line. Catherine Schilter, the senior, moves it back to the point. Svoboda has a goal today. The game tying goal right now. Schilter, a shot through traffic, never got there. Crashing the slot was Svoboda. Just kicks it into the corner. She looks to cycle. Off for Tomlinson. Back to the point. Schilter again. Far side point now. Walsh. She'll backhand it off the far wall. Connects there to Mahoney. Back to Walsh at the far point. Walsh the other goal. Schilter a shot. That one's knocked down by the blade of the stick. That was the defender Hanmer, and the Huskies are able to clear. 23 seconds to go in the period, so this power play will carry over if RPI doesn't score here, and they are a bit slow to break out. Schilter waits for the rest of the line change to occur and moves it the far boards for Horwood. 11 seconds to go in the period. Minute to go in the power play. Horwood down low, driving the net, throws it through the crease all the way to the near side circle. Turning and shooting towards goal there. Comes free to the point. Bohanica shot. That one saved. Turning and shooting there. And the Engineers put it in just after the horn. It was Horwood who buried a rebound off a banking shot, but it won't count. RPI needed about a second and a half to score a power play goal. They would have had the lead.
Yeah, they set it up perfectly. That's exactly what they wanted to do. Perry, just like you mentioned, they just didn't have enough time to pull it off. They might have just been along the action. They kept going just a little bit too long. Get everything set up and get going down the ice. They got it going to their credit. They certainly did what you want to do in that situation to get stuff set up, but they just didn't have enough time for good opportunities there for what would have been the fifth goal of the first period between these two teams. But as it is, the Engineers will still have about 50 seconds of power play time left to start the second period, and we stand here tied 2-2 after 20 minutes. We are going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with the first intermission shortly. You're listening to live coverage of Engineers hockey on 91.5 FM, WRPI Troy.
Say fans, buckle up this fall and winter with a new sweatshirt or sweatpants from the RPI bookstore. Stop in today and check out all they have to offer, or shop online at bookstore.rpi.edu. An additional reminder, fans, don't forget to visit the official online store for Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute Athletics at rpifanshop.com.
Face-offs were 9-9, so it doesn't get much more even than this. Shots even, points even, face-offs even at 9-9. Kanan Tomlinson was the standout for RPI in the draw, in the circle, I should say. She went 5 and 2.
As a matter of fact, the only difference on the statistics on the scoreboard right now is that St. Cloud State has a power play goal and RPI does not. However, that's something that could change here in the next 50 seconds. It would have already changed had the Engineers gotten the puck down ice a little more quickly and set up the way they did. They put the puck in the back of the net, but the whistle had sounded about, let's say about 1.5 seconds earlier.
So it would have scored at probably 20:02, if that will allow, of that first period. Set for the second, 50 seconds on the clock, and the penalty to Mackenzie Johnson. We're underway. The Huskies have it. It's Markstrom standing on the far side pass. RPI turns it around in the neutral zone. Swoboda into the near circle. That's blocked up. Move it back towards the point. Wash pinching in. She plays on that right point on the power play. Does Lauren Wash, the forward. And now a clearance all the way down. It'll be stopped up by Piper to the near side of her goal. RPI skating from left to right now. Period number 2. Long outlet pass connects to Swoboda. Drops it off for Tomlinson into the zone. Stopping up at the top of the circle. Gave it away. Stick handling at center. Illikainen. We backtrack by Schilter. She's tripped up and goes down, but we play on. Wash ahead for Mahoney. Mahoney gets it deep. Chased down by Ness. Abby Ness with it. Up the far boards. They nearly give it away. Mankey got a stick on it. Bouncing puck far side. Right at the red line. Into the zone by Johnson, who's just out of the box. We're back to even strength. Minute 2 into the second period. Banks up the far wall. Gets it deep. Moody back to get it for St. Cloud. It'll roll around to the far side point. There's Godin up the boards. Into the corner. Rooney gets it behind the goal, but it's taken over by St. Cloud. Now Ness off the wall. Banks shoots it far side off a shin pad. That's Hespenheide trying to carry it into the RPI zone. She's tied up with Godin. Comes in on goal. Knocks the net off. Piper keeps it out. And Hespenheide had to be careful there. She nearly could have been called for a penalty the way she was kind of going after Jen Godin, but it goes without an infraction and a face-off coming in the RPI zone.
Yeah, the tie-up between Hespenheide and Godin was kind of made the play develop kind of slowly. They were all tied up. The puck just kind of glided in on net, made it easy for Piper to stop it, but then they collided into the net, and the face-off coming to the left.
Mackrick moves to the far side point and gets it deep on the backhand, intercepted by Middlebrook. Taken back over by Alyssa Erickson. Huskies centered all the way through. Comes free to Wren in the near circle of her own end. She'll drop it backwards. Stick handled by Wash up the near side boards. Gets it back from Wren. Wash into the zone. Poked off her stick. Free towards the point. Kept in Bohonic. Bohonic up the wall. Lost it. Good poke check by Wren to keep it in the zone for a second. Engineers want to get a partial change, and they will. Mackrick, far side boards connects. Into the zone. Pena. Drop pass, shot right on, saved by Piper, didn't hold it, moves into the far side corner. Behind the goal, swatted that to the far circle. Backhanded towards the far point by Thomason, kept in. That shot goes through traffic and it's kicked away by Piper all the way out of the zone. Markstrom tied up, lost the puck for a second, gets it free to Hanmer. Now fanning on the pass there was Spataro. Shot comes wide of goal from the far point into the near corner. First one to it is Kimmerly, trying to move it behind the goal. She's tied up with Spataro. And now Tomlinson. Tomlinson up the near boards. Off the glass, out to center. It's shot far side. It'll go all the way deep, and it'll be icing on the Huskies here. 17-10 left second period. It's 2-2 between RPI and St. Cloud State.
RPI's power play woes this season continue, really. I mean, they just failed to score on the one to open the second period here. That means they are 2 for 56 on the season. It's never a good sign. It's worth mentioning that both of those power play goals came in RPI's only win.
Shot from the far side circle by Mankey. That one goes wide. She does a nice job to get it free. Then she gets shoved into the corner. And we play on. Carried out by Spataro into the RPI zone. Kimberly goes down, but the puck goes deep into the near corner. Illikainen trying to work it free. Goes behind, picked up by Kimberly again. She'll have some room to skate it out. Amanda Kimberly on the move, crosses the red line, dumps it Well, no, it hit some bodies, never got deep. Get some help there, and Engineers do get it into the zone, but turned back around by St. Cloud, trying to catch the Engineers on a change. Shot comes wide of goal on the attempt by Jenna Redford. Near side half wall. RPI zone. Horwood, stick handling away from trouble, goes behind her own goal with it. Horwood carrying up the wall and past Wash all the way to the line, or shot back the other way. Now into the St. Cloud State zone, it's Horwood. Moves back towards the blue line, spins around and keeps it in the zone. Hillwaugh's going to try and chase this one down. It deadens in the corner. Hillwaugh to get it. Gets some help from Horwood. Now taken over by Moody up the far side boards for Johnson. Moody picks it up in the far corner again. She goes D to Slattery. And now move back out to center, right onto the tape of Swoboda, who just flings it back behind the goal. Picked up far side circle by the Huskies. Up the far boards, Engineers can't keep it in. Oh, they do. Kept in by Mahoney there. Left by Friend. Picked up by Slattery. Slattery near side. Kept in by Mahonic at the point. It rolls around to the far side corner. Cycling Tomlinson. Mahoney dives to try and keep the play alive. Puck up against the wall. Mahoney still battling for it while she's sitting down. And now Moody picks it up behind the goal. Engineers doing a decent job forechecking here. Now it's Mahonic pinching in from the near point to keep the play in the corner. 5 minutes into the second period. We have no goals here so far in the second after we had 4 in the first, 2 each way. Now Tomlinson in the circle, winds up and takes a shot and hits the back of the net. It caroms to the far side corner. Tie up over there. Tomlinson trying to track it down. I think it's Svoboda rather. Shot from the near side goes wide by Middlebrook. It comes all the way out towards the point. Mahonic keeps it in. Tomlinson in the corner now. Spinning away from a check. She's tied up and hog-tied and taken down. And we play on. That could have been a hook. Now in the corner. Tomlinson still struggling to get up. Rooney now onto the ice, trying to work it free. Walsh backhands it off the base of the net. Comes free behind the goal to Rooney. Rooney centering pass, shot by Walsh, and it's covered up by Friend. A good centering pass there, and Walsh takes a shove from Moody after the play. It's getting a little physical here. 14-17 to go in the second. Engineers threatening to try and take a lead.
That's what Coach Burke warns about, is that these larger teams from the West can play a little bit more physical style. And I'm frankly shocked that St. Cloud wasn't called a penalty there behind their own net.
Face-off, push back to the point. Schilter gets it deep. If the Engineers keep buzzing like they do, they're going to draw a penalty, and what do you know? A hooking call is going to send somebody to the box, as was Mankey was taken down behind the cage.
They're going to call this a body check, I think. It's going to be like Alex Mackrick, I believe, is the party for Huskies, which he heads off to the penalty bench. Body checking is the call. 5'11" junior out of Windsor, Ontario. Geography fans, is basically a suburb of Detroit. She'll cool her heels for 2 minutes, and we'll see the RPI power play go back to work. They're 0 for 1 this afternoon, and they're pretty much 0 for the season.
Back towards the point, now to the far side. Near side point, Banks is the second power play unit here for RPI. Horwood, stick handling, lost it. Hanmer throws it behind. It's intercepted by Mankey. Back to the point, far side circle. Mahonic a wrister. That one's paddled behind the goal by Friend. A clearing attempt gets it by Mahonic and all the way down. So a good opportunity there. Mahonic had some room to shoot from the top of the circle. The save was made. Friend saw it just enough to make the stop. Now Mahonic skates down the middle of the ice to the neutral zone. Touch pass near side, intercepted by Hanmer. She'll carry it along. Hanmer with 5 goals already on the season, driving to the net. She puts it wide. Engineers kind of tie her up just enough and don't take a penalty. That was a good play defensively by RPI to not take a penalty and negate the rest of this power play. With minute 5 to go on it, Tomlinson carries in, chips it around Moody, goes after it herself. Tomlinson in the corner. Shot up the near side boards by Ness, kept in by Wash, and now a breakout chance here. Ness carries it in on the breakaway, walking right in, a shot and a goal. It's a shorthanded goal for Abby Ness, her second of the season, and it's 3-2 St. Cloud State.
Nice breakaway there by Ness, the senior out of Roseau, Minnesota, and the sister of New York Islanders property Aaron Ness, who Minnesota fans will remember was a former Mr. Hockey up in the hockey mad town of Roseau up on the Canadian border. She just took that all the way down the ice, just outweighed Piper and put it in to make it 3-2 in favor of the Huskies.
Here comes Wash skating in far side. RPI still in the power play for another 40 seconds. Now a clearing attempt kept in by Schilter at the blue line. Picked up at the top of the slot there by Mahoney. Her centering pass was blocked away. And now it's cleared out to center by St. Cloud. Now an errant pass by Schilter. Picked up by Pena. She'll walk right in. And she's tripped up and goes hard into the back wall. We'll say it was incidental between her and Piper. Piper got her stick out to try to make a save, and she kind of skated over it and went down. Now Svoboda carries in with 12 seconds to go in the power play. RPI changing behind her. Svoboda just keeps it at the boards. Now she plays it deep. It's picked up by Markstrom and moved out to center by the Huskies. A deflection there. It's not going to be icing anyway because there's a penalty being killed. But it's waved off by the linesman. Bohonic up the far side boards. We're back to even strength here with 12:02 left in the second period. 3-2. St. Cloud State has the lead on a shorthanded goal. And now we have a whistle as the puck is covered by Friend at the side of the cage.
Officially, it is Abby Ness scoring her second goal of the season. At 7:06 of the second period, a shorthanded goal with no assists. The score 3-2 in favor of the Huskies. 11:48 left to go in the second period.
Face-off move back out to center. A little bit of speed here. Flores Pataro. She stops up at the blue line. She's offside. The puck hitters skate. And that'll draw the whistle. 11:40 on the clock. Shots are 13 apiece. The score in favor of the Huskies by a 3-2 margin.
Well, that power play opportunity was more strong for St. Cloud than it was for the Engineers. Not only did they score the goal, but they also had another opportunity to score a shorty just before the goal by Ness. So RPI's power play is certainly not helping them in the slightest.
Shot by Mackrick. Pad saved by Piper. Puck into the corner. Moves up the boards. Mackrick another drive this time. It flutters off the glass high, but stays in the ice surface area. Now moved out by the Engineers. Good outlet pass to Mankey. She can't find Walsh. Scooped back into the near corner of the RPI zone. Offside, and a delayed offside. Still chasing was Brodt, and that'll draw the offside whistle.
When a team is as bad as the Engineers have been on the power play this season, and what it really does is open up the physical play for the other team. If the other team knows they don't have much to fear from your power play, that gives them the opportunity to play a little more physical hockey to keep you off your game.
Engineers get the puck deep. Moody hands it off for Slattery. And now Moody again up the far boards looking for Ness. It's shot right back in by the Engineers. That was Kimberly who got a stick on it. To the line of St. Cloud. Shot from the blue line by Svoboda, easily sticked away by Friend. Huskies start things back out to center, and that's a bit of a soft call. Slattery gets tripped up. Off goes Friend for an extra attacker. Engineers are about to go on the penalty kill. Svoboda touches it and touches it again and gets a whistle. And it's going to be a trip. It looked like Slattery may have been headed to the ice already, but an Engineer helped her in the process, and they'll go off. Not quite sure who it was. Maybe Svoboda.
It is Svoboda heading off to the penalty box. So the tripping call against the RPI captain. The Engineers back down. So far on penalties, it's been all St. Cloud. They've converted on their only power play opportunity thus far this afternoon. They've been good on the penalty kill as well.
Clearing attempt by the Engineers, kept in by Mackrick at the far point. Alex Mackrick takes a shot. It was blocked, picked up in the near circle by Pena. Far side now Anderson. Shot goes wide. Picked up again by Pena. Bottom of the near circle. And below the goal line it goes. Hespenheide. Back to the point for Anderson. Wrist shot coming. A deflection at the far post. Now a shot. That was blocked by Rooney. Back to the far point it goes. Anderson. Mackrick. Another wrister. That one takes a deflection and goes wide. May have hit Banks on the way through. Now Pena back to the point. Mackrick gives it back to Pena, top of the circle, now far point. Anderson, a wrister, goes wide. Free to the near side of the net. And Bank is going to try and scoop it out. Gets it off the glass, glove down nicely by Mackrick. She's tied up by Rooney. Pena back to the high slot. Anderson, far side circle, one-timer saved by Piper. A try over there and a good shot by Hespenheide. And Piper had to be equal to it. She got across the crease to make the save. There's a clearance by the Engineers. 50 seconds to go on the Svoboda penalty. 9:12 left in the second period as St. Cloud State will start the breakout from behind their own goal. Stick handling and now thrown near side. It was Ilikainen who had it knocked off her stick by Mahoney. Now carried behind the RPI goal by Godin. Reverses play. Near side boards. Cleared all the way down by Schilter. Stopped there by Friend in the far corner. She'll leave it. No, she'll play it behind as pressure came. Picked up by Mankey. She'll look to turn in center. A shot! And it's stopped by Friend. Mahoney had the chance in front. Nearly caught the Huskies off guard there. Good shorthanded opportunity for RPI. Mankey to Mahoney. Now Mahoney carries along. Runs out of gas a bit trying to get around Hanmer. As the Huskies take over, it's Hanmer down the middle of the ice. Far side neutral zone. Ilikainen into the zone, working it down low. Ilikainen still on it behind the goal to the near corner. Molly Ilikainen with her 6th of the season to start the scoring here in this one. Huskies lead at 3-2 as we play 8:10 now to go. A shot from the far point and a whistle. It's covered by Piper.
Just a reminder, you're listening to live coverage of Engineers Hockey on 91.5 FM, WRPI Troy. My name is Tom Reel. I'm joined by Perilous Harris on play-by-play. Engineers killed that penalty off. They were fortunate to get out of that one alive as it was Pena down low with a wide-open net, and she just whiffed on the rebound.
Far side point. Anderson gets it deep. Middlebrook trying to turn it out of the corner. She's tied up by Johnson. Engineers get it to the line and out of the zone. Collision there in front of the St. Cloud bench. Huskies get it deep again. Bohonic trying to track it down, trying to avoid the stick check of Brodt. Now Brodt on it in the far corner. Trying to work it out. Rooney. Good strength shown by Rooney to try and move it out of the zone. Spun around, couldn't get it out in the end. Comes free to the near corner. Brodt takes down Middlebrook. And we get a whistle here as a hand pass is going to be called. Face-off will come all the way down. 7:33 on the clock. It's 3-2 Huskies.
The St. Cloud power play looks very good. They're scoring the only power play goal of this game thus far. It's quickly after they scored the breakaway in the first period. They're very unlikely to get the second one on that last opportunity that they had. It's really the Engineers playing with fire here.
They go behind the goal. Banks to it. And now in the corner. Behind the net. Still carrying it, Spataro. Back to the point. Now Moody. She'll just feed it deep. Goes behind for Salins. Back to the point. A one-timer was blocked by Mahoney. Engineers have a 3-on-2 if they want to break here, although Mahoney couldn't get anything on the pass. And St. Cloud State will move back the other way. Slattery into the zone. 3-on-2 for them. A shot right on and the save by Piper. She holds on.
And Svoboda, I think, just tried to move the puck. It was kind of slow developing as St. Cloud got caught changing behind the play. She lost the handle on it. And St. Cloud quickly pounced on it, and they themselves had a 3-on-2 going the other way quickly because Svoboda had fallen over. RPI lucky there not to get caught napping on the quick transition. And that's what St. Cloud's been about this afternoon, has been being quick in transition and getting opportunities.
Shot and a save by Piper. Wasn't not much on it, but she had to get the pad down. And now the Engineers carried out to center. And Horwood on the move. Lost the puck for a second. Carrying it back towards the middle of the ice is Wash to allow Horwood to get back on side. Now Wash to the slot. Poked away from her. She'll skate into the far corner to keep it. Still Lauren Wash behind the goal. She gets knocked down. Puck between her skates. She's behind the goal. Wren trying to dig it free. And finally, it will be Hanmer to move it out to center. Good outlet pass to Ness. She'll stick handle by Kimmerly. Still Ness backhanding it in front. Intercepted by the back check of Whitney Wren. Good play by Wren, a freshman from Troy, Michigan. Getting it ahead now to Horwood. Horwood into the zone. Top of the far circle. Takes a shot right on. Saved by Friend. And she'll hold on to it there. 6:02 on the clock. In the second period, it's 3-2 St. Cloud State.
Nice go-ahead goal by Abby Ness, who scored shorthanded for St. Cloud State. Fourth shorthanded goal here get up the season. By contrast, they only scored 10 power play goals of their own, which means the RPI power play for the season is -2, which is just not very good.
Not, I suppose. Middlebrook behind the goal. Stick handled nicely by Mankey to get free. She'll work up the far boards. Good connection there. Katie Rooney into the zone. Played it around one defender. That was Anderson. Into the corner, it's Walsh. Walsh moving into the circle. Takes a shot that was blocked. And the carom comes all the way out to center. Hannah Bohonic to grab it for RPI. Mahonic, the sophomore from Minnetonka, gets it ahead to Walsh. Throws it in on goal from outside the zone. It'll be covered by Friend.
5:26 left here in the second period. Huskies with a 3-2 lead. RPI trying to kind of bring the momentum back down the ice, really toward the west end of the field house, which is where they're shooting this period. It's been pretty much all St. Cloud for the last 5 minutes or so.
Shots are 18-17. Shot from the point gets all the way through by Banks. Kick to the far side half boards. Trying to move it out of the corner. Tomlinson hands it off to Godin, top of the circle, looking for the deflection in front. Now a shot from the near side point by Banks comes through. It was deflected wide of goal. Svoboda, far side boards, intercepted by the Huskies. They'll shoot it up the far wall. Godin will settle a bouncing puck in her own zone. Now a pass to the neutral zone, intercepted and sent back in by Redford. Stopped there by Piper. Leaves it for Godin up the far wall. Shot from the point by Redford. Karam's off an RPI player, now back out to center ice. Markstrom shoots it right back into the RPI zone. Stopped there by Piper again. Godin. Near side wall for Svoboda. Center ice connection there. Good find. It's Mahoney in the slot. Makes a move. Gets triple teamed. Lost the puck. It'll be kept in at the point by Bren just off the bench. Back to the point again. Schilter a drive. That one takes a deflection high in the air. It'll come down out of play. Now we'll have a stoppage here. 4:24 on the clock in the second. It's 3-2 St. Cloud State.
It's the right idea by Schilter. She's already got the primary assist on one goal by doing just that. She's got a nice shot that she likes to rip from the outside. That one right from the near face, top of the near face-off circle. Just caught a bit of somebody in front, but it was definitely the right idea by Schilter.
Face off, move back to the point. Schilter will feed it up the wall. Goes behind for Horwood. Now Wash back to the point for Schilter. Thought about a slapper. Feeds it up the boards for Wash. Far point now. Good connection there. Kimberly through traffic with wide right. Wash again. Intercepted on the play back to the point. This time it's carried into the RPI zone by Spataro. Spataro played it around Schilter. Gets some help from Kimberly. As it's going to be Schilter who carries it out for the Engineers. Fed along for Horwood into the St. Cloud State zone. She's tripped up and taken down. RPI power play coming.
Interference is going to be a call against the Huskies. Looks like the penalty is going to be on Hamner. The St. Cloud State captain heads off to the penalty box. Interference call against the 5'7" senior out of Wyoming, Minnesota. RPI back to the power play, but as I've been mentioning, they've got a lot to be desired. They really got just completely run over on their last power play opportunity. In fact, St. Cloud State not only had the better of the scoring chances during the last RPI power play, they also scored a shorthanded goal. So RPI's really got to focus here and get themselves some good quality opportunities to score.
Puck in the the near corner of the St. Cloud State zone. Tomlinson trying to dig for it. Mahoney over to help. Looks to work it back to the point for Godin. Already has her first point of the season on an assist. Centering pass, fluttering wide on the shot by Svoboda, looking for his second. And now Tomlinson battles for it. Goes behind the goal again. Picked up by Mahoney in the near corner. Back to the point for Godin. Godin feeding it back to Mahoney on the backhand. Mahoney back to Godin. Godin holds it. Feeds it cross point. Far side. Schilter down low. Tomlinson looks to cycle. Beaten to the puck and cleared all the way down by the Huskies. That was Macrick who did the job. Godin will start things out from behind her own goal as RPI changes its power play unit. Minute 7 to go on the man advantage. Shots 19-18 RPI, but they trail 3-2. Carried into the zone far side. Stick handling, it's Menke. Back towards the point. Mahonic wasn't in the zone yet. RPI will have to start things over. Fired into the far side by Banks. Knocked down by the goaltender Friend. It'll be played behind by Moody. Over to Slattery. Now she's tied up by Horwood. Digging for it in the near corner. 3 Huskies now, 2 Engineers. And a move towards the point by RPI. Banks. Center ice shot through traffic. Easy save for Friend. Mahonic had a shot that was right along the ice and not a lot on it, but it did get to goal. Now Mahonic on it again, chipping it off the boards. Shot all the way down the ice. It'll be tracked down by Piper. Back to get it, Brandy Banks. Coming up on 2 minutes to go in the second period. One more rush on the power play. Banks will work it up with 10. Far side for Wren. She'll carry in at the hash marks. Stops in the corner. Double team. Is coming over to help was Walsh. And taken over by the Huskies out of the box is Hanmer. We're back to 5-a-side. Race for the puck. Kimberly's going to get there, but has pressure from Hanmer. She gets run into the backboards. Schilter picks it up behind the goal. Near side for Walsh. Up the wall for Wren. Too far for her. Mackrick lost it on the stick handle. Taken over by Wren for a second. Now shot into the zone by Whitney Wren. Back to get it is Anderson for the Huskies. A little bit of pressure comes from Walsh. Gets it out to center ice. Right to Kimberly. Headed right back the other way into the zone. Tomlinson walking in. Wrist shot was partially blocked. Goes into the far corner. Walsh on it again. He'll backhand it deep for Tomlinson. Trina Tomlinson on the season, 2 goals already in 7 games. She was hit with a bit of an injury on the road trip, the very first one of the year, but she's back to full strength here. We have a whistle coming up.
It's a cross-checking call, and I believe the guilty party is in a red St. Cloud jersey.
Yep.
Brote. A can of Brote going off for cross-checking. She put Shannon Tomlinson nice on the end courts. Not a strong penalty for St. Cloud to take, but as I mentioned earlier, if you're going to take penalties, you want to do it against a team that's struggling on the power play. And the Engineers just got off the power play.
Far side corner to the point now. It's Schilter. Near point, Godin. Shot deflected, and maybe a little more needed from Svoboda. She was all by herself in front of the net, but couldn't change the direction. Friend made the save. Now feeding it down low is Svoboda, looking for Tomlinson. Picked up the far point by Schilter. Schilter stick handling it, works it to Tomlinson, and now she's tied up by Hanmer. Schilter over to help out. It's up against the boards, kicked at behind the goal, and now Mahoney has it. Fed back towards the point. Schilter has some pressure coming. Neat pass to Godin. Into the far circle looking for Svoboda. It goes behind for Tomlinson. She can't control. Poked at by Mahoney. Picked up by Tomlinson again. She'll cycle for Taylor Mahoney. Mahoney behind the goal. Feeding it back to the point for Godin. Catches on the backhand. Turns to the forehand. She'll flip it to the circle for Mahoney, who trades places with her. Now a shot by Mahoney. Blocked. Kept in the zone. Right at the blue line by Mahoney. But RPI wants to change its power play with 1 minute to go on it. And now it's out to center. St. Cloud State hollering for too many men. They're not going to get the call as the period horn sounds.
Well, the Engineers just struggling on both sides of the special team spectrum there in the second period. They just weren't able to get anything going with their 3 power plays that they had here in the middle frame. They had a short one to start the period, a short one to end the period, and then one late in the period that they just really weren't able to get anything going on. That's really to their detriment, because when you've got a physical team like St. Cloud State, you don't challenge them on the power play. It's just going to make them all the more bold when it comes to playing physical hockey. And when you have a team that's willing to throw their weight around, it makes it a lot harder to get anything done, especially when you're expecting that physical play to come down. RPI's got about 50 seconds or so left on this power play. Heading into the third period with that fresh ice, they're going to need to try and get something going on it, because otherwise, they were only down by 1 goal, but the way that second period played out, they're probably familiar with more.
Yeah, you can see really the type of play that St. Cloud State has brought to the Fieldhouse. It kind of gives you a feeling for the WCHA is like on the women's side by just their speed and the physicality that we've seen in this game.
Exactly, and that's a way that a team like St. Cloud can kind of compensate for the fact that they don't have nearly as much open ice out there as they're used to. A lot of the rinks in the WCHA are that wider Olympic size. St. Cloud State actually plays on a lot of rinks that size. So without as much open ice, what they can compensate for is by playing a physical brand of hockey and make sure that the other team doesn't have the kind of ice that they're used to either out there. So realistically, the Engineers just have got to get something going on the power play. Whether they score a goal or not, they have to look like they're in a position to put the puck in the net, because if they don't, it's just going to open the Huskies up to being able to We're going to take a short break. We'll be back with the second intermission here from Houston Fieldhouse. Your score after 2 periods of play is St. Cloud State 3 and RPI 2. You're listening to live coverage of Engineers Hockey on 91.5 FM, WRPI Troy.
The United Group. We help clients at every phase of the real estate development process to build environments that balance a concern for environmental characteristics with client goals. Visit www.ugoc.com to learn more about United Group and our most innovative project to date, College Suites at City Station West. That's www.ugoc.com.
within media coverage. So within schedules, if you know the links to all the games already, and you want to go to edit, and there's a couple things. You could go quick load edit.
Rensselaer showed me how to work hard, study hard, and play hard. Showed me how the
You can dump them all right in there. Or you can do it game by game. In which case you can go by date, or you can go by... Correct, yeah. And then...
where I learned to edit a newspaper. I read the pilot, and it just turned out we didn't run the story.
Find out what that is.
I feel like I've learned a lot more, but I've also learned that there's so much more to learn.
YouTube link here, and that will automatically link to the photo.
Critical thinker.
That's right, okay. In which case, then you would click on and you can find out why.
It means something to me.
One of the,
I'm a more popular person now.
I'm a better leader, I would say.
He sent both of his sons here because it was such a great experience.
That's right.
He had two boys here.
RPI was a great education for me, and it was the ticket to a terrific career.
Nice job.
I surprised myself at what I can do.
Everybody I love is at RPI.
If I didn't go to our guy, I would have heard then we wouldn't have known each other. That would be sad.
It's definitely a well-rounded education because RPI teaches you it's not only your grades, it's also volunteering and giving back to the community. RPI is the best education out there, bar none. It teaches you to work hard and also reach for the stars so you can do anything you want after you go to the school.
I made my lifelong friends here. Friends for life. So many friends.
well, I'm over here.
Yeah, but that, since it's in the same window, it's the same cookie, so it logged me out and logged you in. So you're going to have to log out to test that.
I see. Yeah, I'll keep working on it.
Okay.
We'll get it set for you. But that's the general idea. And you can do it through schedules. Why that story's only coming up, I don't know. But you can do it that way.
Well, we can play with that after the game.
Yeah, Perry.
Illikainen is going to go off here for a trip, and the Engineers have a pretty big opportunity here. 32 seconds of 5-on-3 time.
I think Schilter realized it was probably just smarter to just go ahead and grab that two-man advantage as she just whipped that puck down ice towards the Huskies, let them touch it. Not wasting much time, especially with Illikainen off. She's one of the better players for this St. Cloud team. 32 seconds of 5-on-3. We'll see if the Engineers can do anything with it.
Shot right off the draw, turned away by Friend. It'll roll towards the near point. Schilter has it for RPI. Engineers down a goal, 3-2. They've come back from 2-0 already in this game. Back in that first period. Weren't able to score in the second. Now Schilter walking to the middle. A wrist shot right on and a save by Friend. She holds on. She had to. Tomlinson and Mahoney were on the doorstep.
14 seconds left on that 5-on-3. Some good cycling by the Engineers there off that face-off win. They're going to need to win this face-off now in order to try and capitalize on this two-man advantage.
Back to the point. Schilter and now Godin. Holds it there. Lost it on the stick handle. It's in her skate. Doesn't realize it. It's kicked along by Slattery. She'll move out to center. Slattery by herself, driving to the net. Poked away by Piper. Not sure if Slattery got the shot away in the end, but she drove it right to the RPI cage. Now Tomlinson off the wall, trying to move it into the zone. Here's Svoboda in the circle, centering pass all the way through. Free to the far side half wall. Mahoney down low, looking for Tomlinson, too far for her. Spinning around behind the goal line is Anderson. Anderson throws it off of Tomlinson. Tomlinson takes over, back to the point. Bohonic, far side point, it's Banks. She takes a little snapshot that goes wide, looking for the deflection from Horwood, and now St. Cloud clears it all the way down. We're 5-on-4 here, another 50 seconds to go on the penalty to Illikainen. It'll be started out by Banks. Over to Bohonic, all the way down the ice it goes. This could be icing on RPI. No, they wave it off. Hanmer behind the goal. Now Wash to the far side half boards. Poked it free for a second. Now Anderson's going to get there. She's tied up by Horwood. Anderson shoots it around towards the near point. Kept in by Bohonic. Gets it off the wall for Horwood. Mankey rather. Throwing it in front. Shot and was blocked in a clearing effort made by Hespenheide. And it'll go all the way down the ice. Stopped there by Piper. Good chance for the Engineers on the power play. But it looks like another offer upcoming here as it'll be skated down the middle by Tomlinson. Tomlinson to the St. Cloud blue line. She chips it in deep with 2 seconds, one, and we're back to even strength again. RPI 0 for 5 on the power play. It's moved out to center by Illikainen. Just out of the box. Wren has it now as she takes over for RPI. Whitney Wren skating through center ice, picking up speed into the offensive zone. Wren off the wall to herself. Still Wren strong on the puck, driving to the middle. Centering pass knocked up in the air. Moody has it knocked away from her, and now it's picked up by Macrick, skating around Walsh rather. Macrick to the RPI blue line, broken up for a second, now in the zone, skated away by Wren, who's all over the place. And now Wren on it, throws it behind herself, but lost it on the stick handle. Redford's there, or make that Erickson rather, and now taken over by the Engineers. Jen Godin. Godin, outlet pass to the blue line for Wren, is at the end of a shift. Plays at center ice for Rooney. Rooney ahead for Walsh, throws it in wide of goal. Hanmer far side of her own zone for Ness. Ness up the wall for Brote. Shot back into the zone by the Engineers, taken over by Hanmer. She gave it away to Tomlinson in the slot. Drop pass. Mahoney, a wrist shot and a glove saved by Friend. She pulls it to the chest to cover up. We have a stoppage here. 16:31 to go in the third period. It's 3-2 St. Cloud State.
The Huskies haven't been overwhelming, but they've done just enough. I mean, if you're RPI, you have to look at an 0 for 5 line on the power play early in the third period. You're only trailing by 1, but they've certainly had more than enough opportunities to be either tied or ahead in this game.
Up the far side boards, trying to knock it down. Let's say it hit someone on the bench, I believe. So we'll have a stoppage in play. 16:22 on the clock now. And the Engineers, if they're going to come back in this game, Tom, they need to do what they were doing late in that first period, which is they got pucks to the net and they got a couple deflections and rebound goals.
Or even very early in the game, they were cycling the puck well and they were moving the puck into a position where they were able to try for some redirections. And you kind of get back into that flow of things if they're going to really get themselves back into the game. And it's kind of harrowing to say that they need to get themselves back into a game and only trailing by 1.
Shot down at center ice. So he worked up the boards by the Huskies. Ness into the zone. Has Middlebrook in front of her. Ness spinning around in the corner. Back to the point. Moody throws it all the way through. It goes wide of goal. Rote lets it run. Behind the goal it goes. It's Middlebrook up the wall for Mahoney. Now thrown to center ice. Ness has it. She'll backhand it right back into the RPI end. Delaney Middlebrook to grab it for the Engineers. Middlebrook, a senior from Minneapolis, Minnesota, went to Niagara before that program disbanded and transferred here to RPI. Middlebrook flipping it to the zone. It'll be turned back around by Macrick. Up ahead of the play. Good back check by Horwood to break things up. And now Schilter behind the goal, trying to find Kimmerly. Missed her just a bit. She'll try and skate it down. Now Wash. Stick handles to center. Wash backhanding up the near side boards was a good idea for Horwood, but it's broken up by the Huskies and carried back to the direction by Spataro. Spataro gets as far as the RPI blue line where it's broken back up again. Engineers have it behind their own goal. Kimmerly, outlet pass to Wash up ahead of the play for Wren. Tried to knock down a bouncing puck, couldn't do so. Sent out to center by Anderson. RPI plays it right back in. Has to be knocked away by Friend. And now controlled by the Huskies. Far side boards out to center. Knocked down by Banks. She couldn't control. Played up the wall by Spataro. She's interfered with just a bit by Banks. Or make it Salins, rather. And now Horwood will just chip it deep. RPI will finish off its change as Hanmer goes back to get it for St. Cloud. 14:40 to go in the third period. It's a 1-goal lead for St. Cloud State here in Game 2 of this 2-game series. Game 1 of the series. Ilikainen, far side corner, gets it knocked off her stick. Engineers move it out to center ice. Rooney trying to take some space wide. Engineers are offside there as Rooney took a little too long to get into the zone for Walsh. Now a centering pass, swatted away. It'll go behind the goal for Markstrom. Markstrom at the far boards, kept in by Banks, far point, takes a shot, comes all the way through to Friend. She sticked it into the corner. Mankey back towards the point. Nice catch by Godin on the hot feed there. A shot in front by Mankey, doesn't get through. Backhanded towards goal by Rooney, that doesn't get through. Walsh is upended by Hanmer in front. And it's going to be played towards the near side boards. Thomason just off the bench finds Walsh. A shot and a blocker save was needed to be made by Friend. Engineers buzzing in the offensive zone with 13:40 to go in the third period. Now a chance for the Huskies to clear. It'll be knocked down at center ice by RPI. Backtracking into her own end is Banks. Cross-ice pass for Bohonic. Softly ahead, near side for Svoboda. She'll get on the end of this one. Good poke check by Slattery. Mahoney comes to help out. And now Ilikainen. She'll scoop it in the air out to center ice, right to Delaney Middlebrook. Connects to Svoboda. Svoboda for Mahoney. Centering pass. Bounces through the slot to the far corner. Moody and Tomlinson ride into each other and go into that corner. Tomlinson trying to pick it off the wall. Tomlinson stick handling. Centering pass. Intercepted and covered by Friend.
RPI is finally starting to look like they're doing what they need to do in order to draw this game square again. And with 13:03 left in the third period and trailing 3-2. They're getting players down low in good positions to try and find some rebounds, some redirections. Mary Mankey just had a pretty decent shift in that respect, but nothing quite yet for the Engineers.
Shot from the point blocked, picked up by Wren. Wren will stick handle top of the near side circle, get it deep. Horwood trying to get there. She's being harassed by Slattery. They go hard into the boards. Back to the point now. Middlebrook. Shot coming, hits a shin pad, picked up by Brodt. St. Cloud State wants to break out 3-on-3 as they come over the RPI blue line. Wren back checking, poked away, picked up by Wash. She'll pick up speed in the neutral zone. She's 1-on-3, has a couple teammates trailing. Puck comes loose to Horwood, wrist shot right on, and a save by Friend with Wash lurking. That was kind of a best case scenario for RPI. Wash was 1-on-3. Her kind of centering move deflected right to Horwood as she got the shot away.
Yeah, that's not exactly the way it was drawn up, but it seemed to work out because she had the two trailers right behind. While she was busy being swarmed by three players, that kind of left two really all alone up there. Horwood took a decent shot, got through, and Friend made a nice save.
In the slot, Wash backhand deflected. It could have gone anywhere. It went wide of the goal into the near corner. Into the far corner it goes. Now Anderson's going to be the first one to it for St. Cloud. Back behind for Macrick. Up the near side wall. Pinching up the boards is Kimmerly. Couldn't get the puck, and now a 2-on-1 chance here for St. Cloud into the zone. Centering pass. Broken up nicely there by Schilter on the try by Hespenheide. It was a 2-on-1. Probably should have looked to shoot there as Schilter had that pass pretty well covered. Now a shot from the far point blocked away into the corner. It'll be chased down by Arbogast. Now Hespenheide. Her shot sticked away by Piper. Into the near corner. It'll be tracked down by Kimmerly. Playing it around to the far side for the Engineers. It's Wash out ahead of the play, connects there to Mankey, who just gets the puck deep and goes off on a change. 11:38 to go in the third. Still a lot of time left. It's 3-2 St. Cloud State. Cross ice pass, and a dangerous one does get all the way through for Ness. She'll carry into the RPI zone. Top of the circle, wrist shot coming, saved by Piper. Can't cover the rebound. It goes behind the goal. Ilikainen to the circle. Drop pass coming. Hanmer, a shot. Pad saved by Piper. The rebound pops free out to center. Race for the puck. First one, too. It's going to be Caroline Markstrom as it's carried along by the Engineers now. Svoboda, a shot. That hit the shin pad of Markstrom. Picked up far side by Spataro. Chipped out of the zone by Spataro. She'll carry on. And she toe drags around Tomlinson for the time being. Hanmer has it in her own end. Spinning around neutral zone. She'll carry along. Hanmer into the RPI zone. Takes a wrist shot right on it. Save was made, but it wasn't clean. It skips into the far corner. Engineers look to break out near side. Here comes Lauren Wash on the move. Plays it around the defender, or tried to. Good play by Moody to break it up. Gets it out to center. Wren plays it back for Bohonic. Bohonic chipping it far side. An ill-advised pass broken up by Salins. And it's Banks who has to go back and get it in her own end. Up the near side boards. Chopping at it was Wren. Back to get it Banks. D-to-D pass behind the goal. Bohonic plays it up the boards. Stopped there on the far side was Horwood. Tried to feed it into the middle. Dump in try broken up by the Engineers. Played up the far side. Brote keeps it in the zone right at the blue line. And now Pena. Centering pass looking for Pena. By Erickson. Goes behind the goal to the far corner. Halfway through the third. Far point wrist shot comes. It's dumped into the near corner. Bohonic stops it up there. Plays it behind herself for Wren. Wren behind the goal. Chased by Brote. Played up the far side boards for Horwood. Horwood tied up. Kept in Slattery. Knocked down by Wren. She has a chance to break here. A 1-on-3. Tried to toe drag. Lost the puck in the far circle. Brote on it now. She gets dumped by Wren in the corner. And the Huskies take over behind the goal. Slattery up the near side boards. Too far for Pena. Engineers have a player at the blue line looking to find her. It was Schilter. Dives the play to Walsh. Gets it ahead to Mankey. Shot out of the zone by the Huskies. Schilter has it right in front of her own bench area. She'll shoot it far side. First one, too. It's Macrick for St. Cloud. Into the skate of Mankey. Centering pass blocked. There was a good block there. Needed to happen from Hespenheide. There was a player in front. It was Walsh. And now the Huskies carry it back the other way. 9:05 to go in the period. Walking in a shot over the top, looking for that top right corner. Off the glass, the near point for Anderson. She'll flip one towards goal, looking for the deflection. Hespenheide couldn't get a stick on it. Now it's Ness in the far corner, looking to walk out in front. Ness, a shot over the top by Hespenheide. Had a lot of net to shoot at as Piper was down in the play. Into the far corner it goes. Now near corner, Hespenheide looking to center all the way through. All the way to the point where it's covered up. Moved out by Mankey. She'll flip it to the line, knocked down by Macrick. RPI trying to get a change, and they'll get half of it. As the Huskies get it deep, Engineers will finish it off. Stopped up by Piper behind the goal. Starting things out behind the net is Godin. Stick handling there. Feeds it far side for Svoboda. She'll carry it into the offensive zone. Drop pass. Tomlinson feeding it in front. Knocked away by Hanmer. And moved back out by the Huskies. Spataro. Near side, Ilikainen looking to center, intercepted by Godin. Carried back the other way, some speed and some space for Mahoney into the zone. 1-on-1 with the defender. Shot right on, and a glove save was made. Mankey goes into the net. We have some pushing and shoving here between Markstrom and Mahoney, and they need to be separated.
I think Markstrom was a little miffed that Mahoney was going hard after the rebound that didn't come, because Friend was just about as calm as could be, just snapping that one out of the air with her glove. She's been pretty strong here for St. Cloud State, especially here in the third period as the Engineers try to tip the ice a little bit back down in their favor. They've had their opportunities. They haven't been able to find that tying goal. It's still 3-2 St. Cloud with 8:01 left in the game.
Back to the point. Bohonic shoots it in. Gets off a spot on the boards. That'll allow RPI to maintain possession. Bohonic can't control the pass back to the point. Now a 2-on-1 chance for the Huskies. Pena into the zone. Takes the shot. That one hit off the stick of Banks. And it goes wide. So RPI defending some 2-on-1s nicely. They like to avoid the situations altogether. But for the time being, they're still down just the goal. Now a move made here. Slattery trying to stick handle. Lost the puck. It pops out towards the point, and only an Engineer is there. It is Wash who carries into the zone. She'll chip it deep. Played around far side boards. Kicked at by a Husky over there. It's Erickson. And now back to Moody, near side circle of her own zone. RPI sends 2 on the forecheck. It's into the RPI bench. And a face-off coming in the St. Cloud State end. 7:14 on the clock. It's 3-2 St. Cloud.
Starting to settle kind of into the same kind of motif we saw in the first period as RPI really starting to establish the puck control, but St. Cloud still dangerous by moving down ice quickly in transition.
Whistle here. And I believe, I'm not quite sure what the whistle was for. We'll do the face-off again.
It's a false start on the...
Maybe you're right.
Something along those lines.
Face-off near side. Engineers have it. Push it back to the point. Middlebrook quickly back down low. It'll roll around behind the goal. Rooney tied up with the defender. Shot on a one-timer from the slot by Mankey. Goes wide. Picked up near point by Middlebrook. She'll get it down low. Walsh back towards the point. Intercepted by Ness. And carried on further by Arbogast. Arbogast into the RPI zone. Taking it wide far side. Takes a little snapshot that goes wide of the goal. Behind the net to the near corner. Now Ness has it behind the cage. Looking to center. Ness feeding it in front. Poked away by Middlebrook. Now towards the point and out to center. Anderson there. She goes D-to-D to Mackrick. Mackrick scooping it high in the air. Comes down in the neutral zone. Fed near side. Knocked out of the air by Ness. She gets run into by a couple Engineers. And we play on, no call. Either of them may have been called for a body check, but we'll get a puck covered up by Piper at the RPI end.
Yeah, Abby Ness was sandwiched by a couple of Engineers. I didn't see exactly which two it was. Could have called either one of them for a body check there because they were.
That was a check.
Checking them, yes, at the same time.
Far side point. Markstrom through traffic. Save made by Piper. Swept away by the Engineers, but not out of danger. As Spataro had a chance at it. Now it's picked up in the near corner. Back to the point. Hanmer. Far point Markstrom. She takes a shot that was blocked by Svoboda and carried out by the Engineers. Here comes Tomlinson on the move. She looks to carry it deep. Takes a whack there from Hanmer. Gets the pass away, but it's broken up by Hespenhyde. Picked up far corner by Mahoney. Mahoney tied up by Hespenhyde. Markstrom comes to take over. Intercepted by Tomlinson. She tries to feed it in front. Swatted away. Picked up in the slot again and moved back to the point for Godin. Godin spinning around at the point. Trying to use some strength to keep the play alive. Does get some help from Svoboda. Svoboda will just work it deep. Smart play by the senior there as RPI changes its blue liners to the point all the way through. Bohonic knocked it down with a skate. Now Bohonic leaves it off for Tomlinson. Tomlinson's centering pass broken up. Now Mahoney from the point hits a skate and trickles into the near corner. 5:18 to go third period. RPI down 3-2. Working up the boards and out to center are the Huskies. It'll be tracked down by Laura Horwood. Horwood on it, the sophomore from Belleville, Ontario. Gets it all the way down the ice, and they wave off the icing as it's picked up by the Huskies. Slattery, far side boards, intercepted by Washer. Cross-ice pass intercepted by Pena. She gets dumped by Wash, and a penalty upcoming on the Engineers. Wash puts their hands up in the air. Didn't like the call, but she's going to go off on a body checking call, and really could have been a makeup call, whatever you want to call it. It was a little bit of a hit, but Engineers had one coming, seemingly.
Yeah, especially after what had just transpired probably about 90 seconds earlier with Ness being sandwiched to the ice. I believe Wash was one of the perpetrators of earlier.
I think you're right.
So maybe the referee's just looking for an excuse. But Wash is off for body checking with 4:54 left in the third period. RPI down by a goal, so this penalty kill coming at a very inopportune time for them.
Yeah, there wasn't nothing there from Wash. I want to point out there was a collision in the neutral zone. Anyway, Wash off, so that shortens this third period for RPI considerably as they have to kill off this penalty. 4:43 left in regulation. And they also need to kill off this St. Cloud State power play to boot. Here is Slattery walking in top of the circle, feeding it down low, takes a deflection, and goes over the top. That was Arbogast who was down there and looked to get either a stick or a skate on it, popped it in the air over the top of the net. Now high slot. Hanmer, cross-ice pass Slattery on the backhand. Can't quite get that shot away. She spins around to the far point. Still Slattery on it. Engineers don't want to close on her. Now a shot comes. It was blocked by Schilter. Goes behind the cage. Arbogast over to Ilikainen. Back to the point. They hand off there. Hanmer down low. Ilikainen to the dot. Takes a shot looking for the top left corner. Comes down off the dasher at the far point. Slattery there. Fed down low. Wide open in front. Good stick by Schilter to break with the pass. It was Ilikainen who was all alone in front of the goal. Now a chance for the Engineers to break shorthanded. Here comes Mankey into the zone. Top of the circle, pulls it back, takes the shot right on. Save made as there was an engineer crashing. It was Rooney. And a good stop there by Friend.
Good stop by Friend, but it's maybe one of the first times we've seen her leave a rebound. Fortunately, it was directly down in front of her. She was able to pounce on it quickly before Rooney could get to it. But a decent opportunity there for the Engineers on a shorthanded break. That's just the way you usually see them, too, with a blocked shot near the point. Mankey took off with it.
Still another 45 seconds to go on the wash penalty. It's moved out. Well, it's tied up here on the half wall in the St. Cloud State zone. The Engineers will be happy with this. Time just running off the clock. Someone has it pinched up against the boards. I can't tell the Engineers in there. I think it's Mankey who's just digging for it or just keeping it in there. The Huskies trying to dig it out. Spataro's in there. So is Anderson. Finally comes free to the neutral zone. It's Bohanek who has it. Goes day-to-day to Godin. Fires it in on goal. Easy stick save for Friend. The Engineers ran off a good 35 seconds of penalty kill time just against the boards there with 8 seconds, now 7. We're under 3 minutes to go in the third period. Spataro gets it deep. Back to get it is Whitney Wren for RPI. Leaves it behind the goal for Godin. Godin works up the far side boards. Back to 5 aside. Washes out of the box. Now looking to stick handle. And Hespenhyde gets tripped up at the blue line, and that's a big penalty here with just 2:42 left. RPI is going to go back on the kill.
Yeah, this is an arguably even bigger penalty since there's now even less time remaining on the clock, and it's Hannah Bohanek that is heading off for this open ice trip in the neutral zone. The sophomore out of Minnetonka, Minnesota. It's the same hometown as the St. Cloud State netminder. That puts RPI really in a bind here as they're going to be running low on 5-on-5 play.
Power play time. Slapper coming. Took a deflection off Schilter's stick. Engineers try to clear. They get it to Tomlinson. If Engineers are looking for a chance for a shorthanded goal, this would be the opportunity here as Horwood chases after that puck. It was shot all the way down by Tomlinson. But RPI has the skaters to do it. You look at Whitney Wren or Sheena Tomlinson, they have the kind of speed and finishing ability to maybe get a shorthanded goal.
Absolutely, and they almost had one on the last penalty kill as well. I mean, to some extent, it's just a matter of being in the right place at the right time and getting that block, especially up by the blue line.
Kind of spring someone there from the point. Here's Slattery carrying in for St. Cloud. She gets it deep. It'll roll around to the far side corner. Arbogast had it hop over her stick. Engineers elect to just clear it all the way down. The Engineers have to think about maybe pulling Piper here to make it a 5-on-5 situation. Always dangerous, but it's not going to help you losing the game 3-2 in the end anyway. So might as well take the risk. Here comes Illikainen into the RPI zone. Centering pass, sticked away. Turned into a shot. Stopped by Piper. Far side circle. Controlling a loose puck as Svoboda. She'll wrist it all the way down the ice. Comes down in the near corner. With 1:40 to go. Piper still in the net. Still 55 seconds to go in the Bohanek penalty. Engineers force a turnover in the far corner. Mahoney tied up sticks. Back to the point. Schilter fakes the slapper. Gets it down low. Looking for Mahoney. Upended on the play over there was Illikainen. She looks to the ref for a call. Not going to get it there. With RPI already down a man. 38 seconds to go in the period. Here's Anderson to work it out of the corner. Now Mahoney dumped in the corner far side. She's slow to get up. Pena carries it up the near side boards. Spataro looking to feed it cross ice, trying to find Hespenhyde, who's been close to scoring all day. Now to the point. Mackrick with 1 minute to go in the third. St. Cloud State with a 1-goal lead. To the point for Mackrick again. 14 seconds to go on the power play. Far side hash marks. Hespenhyde up top near point. Anderson fakes the shot. Far side Mackrick, a shot through traffic. Saved by Piper. 3 seconds to go on the power play. Puck's behind the goal. Now trying to walk out in front. It's thrown through the crease. We're back to 5 aside as Wash is out there for the Engineers as the fifth skater. 35 seconds to go. Engineers need to get the puck back as Wash has it. Playing it behind. It'll roll around towards the near side half wall with 28 to go. Back behind the net for Schilter. Engineers need to get a puck out of the zone if they want to have thoughts of pulling the goaltender. 20 seconds left. Puck still in the zone. Wash takes over. She may try to do it herself here. Now she'll work it out to center for Svoboda. Off comes the goaltender Piper with 12 seconds left. Here comes Svoboda walking in. A shot goes wide into the near corner with 8. Played down low by Mankey. Centering pass out in front. A shot. A save. Rebound. Goes wide from Horwood. Another centering pass goes through the slot. And the Engineers do all but score there in the final 10 seconds. It took a long time to develop. You're killing off a penalty. There's a minute left. You move it down and you get a prime scoring chance. Laura Horwood right in front of the goal. Did a nice job to control the puck. Got the shot away. I think he just put it wide in the end.
It was, the final shot was a little bit of a bouncing puck. Could have gone anywhere, really. But that just really underscores for you how devastating those late penalties were for the Engineers. They were finally starting to move down in the right direction, get something going. They didn't look close to scoring a goal, at least as close as they finally came at the very end there. But they were finally getting the momentum in their direction, and they take a couple of late penalties that really blunts their offensive ability. They kill off the last penalty, and then they still get stuck down in their own end for another good 30 to 45 seconds afterwards. It doesn't give them too much of an opportunity to do anything with the pulled goaltender, and ultimately just not enough time. Pretty similar to the end of the first period, where they just didn't have enough time to get it done after being bottled up in their own end. It kind of speaks to the urgency to some extent, but that urgency, you can be as urgent as you want late. If you're still down players, you're just the numbers are just not with you, and that's what happened to RPI this afternoon. They had plenty of opportunities on the power play. They went 0 for 5. So there's that. I mean, you go 0 for 5 and lose by 1. You can't say you didn't have your chances to score. The RPI power play is. I can't find the superlative right now. It's just. I mean, they're now 2 for 60 on the season, which putrid, I guess. I mean, is that?
Yeah, and it's
is that enough? I mean,
well, the thing about it is, and it's funny, not really funny, but the situation that the team finds itself in is it just keeps mounting, and I think you're looking at a team that's trying to play through this struggle on the power play and
squeezing the stick a little too hard,
a little bit, and you see, and it's all in the end there. It's all in the end product because it seems like they're able to work the puck around and get some opportunities. It's just when the puck comes to someone on the doorstep or wherever they may be, it's just not bouncing their way. And like you said, it just gets harder and harder. The more that number on the right piles up and the number on the left stays at 2. It's just harder and harder to kind of see the end there. Now, really, what the team probably has to do is just throw it out and don't even look at a number and say we're starting over from scratch and let's just try to get our power play working, get one power play goal, and call that 1 for 1 instead of worrying about we're 2 for 60 on the season.
Started out, we're 0 for 0 starting tomorrow, and you just got to go from there. And as I mentioned earlier in the game, I mean, they've got 2 power play goals, and they've given up 4 shorthanded, including what ultimately proved to be the game winner here tonight, as Abby Ness scores on a shorthanded breakaway to provide the Huskies with their margin of victory. So it's something that the Engineers have just got to get themselves turned around on if they're going to have success going forward, and that's really all there is to say about it. I mean, they didn't play poorly at even strength, but there's at times some urgency missing there as well. So certainly some things to work on. These are the types of games that RPI needs to be working on those things because obviously playing against non-conference opponents, you lose a game, especially given where RPI is right now. They're certainly not in the hunt for one of those at-large bids to the national tournament or anything. So these games, for all intents and purposes, become something of an exhibition, give them the opportunity to tinker a little bit, to get things right for when the ECAC play kicks back in, which are really going to be the games where the Engineers are going to have their bread and butter this season.
No, it's certainly the case. And you look at tomorrow's game, a chance for RPI to try and bounce back. They did so in the first period. They got down 2 goals early, but they were able to show some resilience there and came back to tie the game. Just not quite enough offensively. They did outshoot the Huskies 30-26 in the end here, and they won the face-off battle as well. So, just that power play kind of just stands out as something that needs to be improved if this team's going to get better here this year.
And full marks to St. Cloud State here this afternoon, too. They got the job done when they needed to. Obviously, the big moments for them was during the first period. They were able to score on a delayed penalty. That certainly put RPI behind the 8 ball early, especially when that second goal came in less than 30 seconds later. Getting up 2 goals like that. The Engineers fought back, They got 2 quick ones of them off on their own later in that period, but after that first period was over, St. Cloud was able to settle in, play some good defense, do that kind of transitional game that they like to play, get real physical, and then they rode that shorty by Abby Ness to victory.
So I'll run down the scoring here, and Tom will come up with his offensive and defensive engineers of the game. Scoring got started at 9:04 of the first period. Molly Illikainen with her 6th of the season. An unassisted goal made it 1-0 to the visitors, and a power play goal by Lauren Hespenheide at 9:27. Made it 2-0. Assists to Alexandra Makari and Brittany Anderson. Engineers pulled within 2-1 at 13:42 of the first period. Lauren Walsh with her 2nd of the year from Catherine Schilter and Jen Godin. And then they tied the game on Ali Svoboda's 2nd of the season at 15:23 of the first. Assist to Sheena Tomlinson and Taylor Mahoney. Abby Ness got the eventual game winner at 7:06 of the second period with an assist to Molly Illikainen. Wanted to make this one note during the game, and I forgot to do so. RPI playing against Molly Illikainen this evening, the junior from Grand Rapids. Her older sister Morgan plays for Dartmouth, who RPI just played, and Morgan had an assist against RPI last Saturday. Kind of strange how you wouldn't expect RPI to play against both Illikainens, one playing at Dartmouth, one playing at St. Cloud here. And that's kind of how it kind of fell here.
I thought the name it sounded familiar from earlier in the broadcast, right?
Right. I had to go look it up, and they're both out of Grand Rapids.
Familiar. Yeah. Offensive and defensive engineers of the game. I'm gonna throw you a curveball here, Perry.
Okay.
I've got a defenseman for the offensive player of the game and a forward for the defensive player of the game.
We'll take it.
Have you seen that before?
I've seen a lot, but I don't know if I've seen that.
All right, well, offensively, I really liked, I mentioned this during the broadcast a couple of times, I really liked Catherine Schilter's shot, and she really had it on today. She produced a goal with it in the first period. She had opportunities both on the power play and at even strength with that wicked shot that she takes from the outside. Really created some opportunities for RPI where they weren't previously having any. So just having that kind of ability to whip the puck down there and allow the engineers to go for what we've been talking about the entire game here, go for those rebounds and go for those redirections. That kind of kept RPI in this game throughout, even though they were struggling at times, even though they were down just that goal. You get those bounces, sometimes that creates something. So Catherine Schilter, my offensive engineer of the game. And absent any kind of, overreaching defensive performance, I have to really point out the performance of Taylor Mahoney on RPI's next to last power play, or penalty kill, I should say. She was down in the near boards. Barry had a hard time making out who it was. He thought it was Mary Mankey, and I checked out after she got back up off the ice was Taylor Mahoney down there.
Okay, was Taylor.
Really just battling away. She had 3 Huskies around her and literally killed maybe 20 to 25 seconds, which can be huge for the overall success of a penalty kill. So that individual effort late on that penalty kill was really superb. So Taylor Mahoney, the defensive engineer of the game for RPI. We are going to wrap things up here and get ready for our next broadcast, which is coming up in a little bit under 2 hours. Before we do jettison from this broadcast, we want to be sure to thank the Rensselaer Union, which provides the funding for WRPI and all the club-related activity of the Institute, including WRPI's coverage of RPI hockey, football, and baseball. Just a reminder, WRPI is on the World Wide Web. Point your browser to www.wrpi.org. You can pick up WRPI's broadcast 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, as long as WRPI is broadcasting. You provide that broadcast on our internet feed. Once again, that is wrpi.org. WRPI Sports seeking current RPI students to make live calls of athletic events such as this one. There are opportunities this season to get on the air for men's and women's hockey. To express interest or for more information, contact us at wrpi-sports@rpi.edu. We want to thank Chris Picone back at the station for helping us get out on the air and stay out on the air. Our next WRPI Sports broadcast, as I just mentioned, is in scant hour, about an hour and 45 minutes away. Just a reminder, you're listening to live coverage of Engineers Hockey on 91.5 FM WRPI Troy. And you'll be listening to that same coverage at about 6:45 this evening with a puck drop of 7 o'clock as the RPI Engineers take on the Harvard Crimson from the Houston Fieldhouse in Troy, New York. It'll be Perry Lascaris and Tom Reel pulling double duty this evening. Our next women's hockey broadcast is going to be tomorrow. Airtime should be about 2:45 p.m. with a puck drop of 3 p.m. as the Engineers take on the St. Cloud State Huskies in the second game of a doubleheader. I know Perry will be here for that one. I, myself, will not be in the country anymore, so that will be, I guess that'll be my loss. But for now, we will sign off from here at Houston Fieldhouse. For Perry Lascaris, my name is Tom Reel. Your final score from Troy is St. Cloud State 3 and RPI 2. You've been listening to live coverage of Engineers hockey on 91.5 FM, WRPI Troy.